Turns out while I was writing the script, they changed how weapon customization worked, meaning some stereotypes no longer apply to certain weapons, as they can now be customized to suit a certain playstyle. Anyway, shotguns and SMGs fill unique spots in Helldivers 2. They can either be long-range sluggers, or more close-quarters options that shred targets up close. Either way, like with the previous episode, some of them are good, while others are underpowered. And today, we're taking a look at those two weapons. Once again, I should imply, stereotypes don't apply to everybody. What I say about one weapon doesn't mean everyone likes it. Not every user is the same. These are my takes that I've observed. Don't take them seriously. Blah, blah, blah. Alright, let's get into it. This is the default starter SMG found in the free War Bond. It's a pretty rare sight to see on every front on account of its low performance and the fact that most people view it as a downgrade to the SG-8 Punisher, which I'll get to later on in this video. Most of the time with this and the Pummeler SMG, you'll find people burning through entire magazines just to take out one horde of bugs or bots, which is pretty unfortunate to see. I'm also going to mention here that outside of the Reprimand, every one of these players will usually be running some sort of shield or higher damaging secondary. Usually I find them running the energy shield, but sometimes I do see them running the ballistic shield. This weapon used to be regarded as one of the best guns in the entire game, rivaling many guns as the go-to for taking out medium armored and light armored enemies. Sadly, this gun was one of the many victims of Arrowhead's pre-60 days patch philosophy of nerf absolutely everything that people have fun with, and as a result, this gun has never recovered. Because of this, you'll usually only find people who use this gun once before they immediately swap back to what they had originally. Even with the new update that allows for weapon customization, I still find this gun falling short. The stereotype for this used to be people who love playing the game with maximum recoil. But since the new update that added weapon customization, that has been thrown out the window. Then I noticed they're actually pretty chill to play with, and usually you can find them laying down covering or suppressing fire. Sadly, this only applies to the bot front, as on the bug or illuminate front, they're impossible to find. But occasionally you'll see one every now and then. If you use the StA-11, I find you're one of two things. You're either a former Counter-Strike player who vaguely remembers his gun not being good, yet picks it anyway because familiarity, or someone who didn't want to fork over $20 to buy the Night SMG. And sometimes I found there are people who don't fall into either category. Usually they're just new players. So, I don't have this one, but from my experience, this gun is kind of a war pig. I say kind of because prior to the addition of weapon customization, this gun was regarded as not being very powerful. But the people I found who did run it would say that it was the best SMG to run against bugs and squids, although they usually didn't contribute much to mission completion. Thankfully, that's now changed because of modifications you can make it into a stalwart hybrid. Despite this, I don't see a lot of people running this gun, as it's only people who bought Super Citizen Edition, and a lot of people don't know it can be turned into the stalwart. And like I said much earlier, your chance of actually seeing someone running this is almost zero. This is the new player mentality of the shotgun family. Sadly, it's also the reason I mentioned earlier about why the Defender is so underutilized. Honestly, this is one of the only new player weapons I could see someone using on higher levels because it tends to be more consistent than other weapons and actually holds up in terms of stopping power. So, funny story with this gun. I remember in the early days, before they figured out how spread and ergonomics on guns worked, this gun had one of the highest accuracies of any gun in the entire game, actually beating out most sniper rifles. Of course, this isn't the case anymore, but to this day, you can still find it as one of the most accurate guns in the entire game. Usually, I find these guys playing around on the bot front, but on occasion you can find them on the bug front. And also, if it hasn't been mentioned, they are very accurate. This is a tragic example of a great concept, an okay execution, but massively rejected by the fan base just because there are better options. When it came out, I remember people running this on both the bug and bot front, usually running the secondary and the booster that came with it. As time passed, this and the other items in the Truth Enforcer's Warbond, with the exception being the Reprimand SMG as previously mentioned, either became outclassed by other weapons, or just never received enough love from following updates. This guy's a bug player. That's it. This guy only fights against the bugs. Although, I'll note briefly, they were found on the Illuminate front, but that was mostly in the early days of their invasion, and also when they were on Super Earth. Other than that, yeah, this guy's a bug diver. This is often seen as the meta shotgun by both new and experienced players. And to be honest, it's still pretty accurate to see why most people have this sentiment, as even at higher levels, it can still hold its own when you compare it to other primaries. It can be more commonly found among newer players on both fronts, although I would like to point out here, they do tend to run the supply pack in either the stock machine gun or the grenade launcher. This gun is often called the Poor Man's Breaker Incendiary, and for good reason. Prior to the update that added the duck bill and later weapon customization, this gun did the same thing as the Incendiary Breaker, minus the setting enemies on fire. Eventually, it was given the addition of a duck bill muzzle, as previously mentioned, so that way the bird shot spreads out more. As a result of its light armor penetrating status, I've only found it on bug fronts at difficulty 7 or 8. This gun used to be the king of the bug front. Everyone ran this shotgun on that front because it sliced through them like butter. Then, the previously mentioned pre-60 days patch hit, and with that came escalation of freedom. This gun can still be found on higher difficulties of the bug front, still used by people who try to justify that it's still one of the better guns in the game. Still, it is considered top tier for bugs, but you do have to build your loadout around the weapon. As a result, I've noticed they'll either have siege ready or supply pack armor on, along with either gas or fire grenades, just for higher crowd control. I'm not going to go as far as to say they're war pigs, but they are inching close to that title, as a lot of them try to justify being gods at this game, while not being as good as they say they are. Alright, that wraps up shotguns and SMGs. Again, let me know the stereotypes you want to see in the next video, which is going to be explosives, special, and energy weapons. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.